All right, this is a continuation of the attempted repair on this mower. It's kind of a mystery mower. It's got a pull-in vanity cover. But I don't think that's what it is. I don't think that's original. Somebody has worked on this thing a lot. And I'm taking the blade off, and I'm trying to get the adapter off. Sometimes you can get them off and sometimes you can't. This one I think is going to come off. I wanted to show you how I do it. Jaw puller, two jaw puller, one end here, one end there. And then the drive part in the center, I've got in the original screw, or at least a screw that fits that I've drilled a tiny little hole in, so this cone-shaped drive will sort of slip into that and won't be wobbling around moving too much. Now there's a lot of torque involved here. I'm using my wrench to go this way, and so to keep everything from turning, I've got my breaker bar and I put it in here, and that keeps all of this from turning towards me and pushes the drive in there in order to get the blade adapter off. So this is how I do it. You guys may have your own ways. And it's really on there. Okay, it made a little move there. A little further. I've only got a few turns left on the screw that's going in there. So I may have to stop and then back that screw out some. Show y'all what this looks like up close. That's what's going on. See, I've only got a few threads left before it's flush and won't be able to move any. And then to keep it from coming towards me, I take this big breaker bar in here and put it this way. And that leverage keeps it in place. So let me set this back down. I'm going to go ahead and take the clamp off and back that screw out a few threads so that I've got a little more to work with there. All right, so now I'm going to unscrew it. That's pretty easy. Going the other way is not easy. Now I'm going to unscrew this several turns, and I'll put this back on there, and hopefully that'll be enough to where I can get it off. Without having to take the clamp off another time. So now I'm tighten it back up. I want to try and get that thing right in the center of that screw head. Sling it up with my hands. Okay, now put my breaker bar back in here. Hopefully this is still about the right setting. Nope, too small. There we go. Taking up the slack now. There we go. That was a good one. So I do think this adapter's going to come off. Sometimes I can't get them off. They're just too rusted and too old. Do then is, once I get this adapter off, I'm going to take the vanity cover off, because there is no pull cord, and I'll turn the flywheel by hand and watch it. I have to bring it off again. I've run out of thread. So I'll take the vanity cover off and then turn the flywheel by hand. And no, it's not even. Okay, there we go. You know what? I think I may just try tapping it a few times with my hammer. Now I'm run out of thread. Yeah, it's definitely moving around. Sometimes it helps to get it centered up and then tap it the other way. Okay, so let's look at this, make sure the adapter's not broken. What I mean by that is that the key is still there. Also, I'm looking for cracks because sometimes that'll happen. I don't see any cracks in it. And this one does appear to be the right size and fit that crankshaft. Clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to get me a pocket knife right now. Nothing fancy, and scrape off some of this crud that makes that thing so hard to get on and off. Up there in that key groove. All right. And I'm going to take my knife and run it around the inside of that. Let's see if it slips on a little easier now. Yeah, it's still pretty tight. Some of that crud out of there. And now I'm going to get me a strip of sandpaper and go around it like that. Just trying to get all the junk and rust and built up crud off of there that keeps that adapter from sliding on and off. Look, if I have to take it off again, I don't have so much problems or resistance. Now I've done that, now I'm going to get a wire brush and clean off all that dust and dirt. Let's see if it slides on a little better now. Yeah, that's a little better. Now you don't want it too loose, but at least that slides on and off pretty well. Let me try my pocket knife in here again on those grooves. Yeah, there's still some crud in there. That's much better. Okay, now I'm going to go in under the vanity cover. So I need my electric drill for that. 1/4 inch drive and a 5/16 socket. You're not going to be able to see me do this, but there's 3 screws that hold this vanity cover on. There is no pull cord in it. Break that one loose. Break that one loose. And break. That one's already pretty loose. You know what, I guess I'll put it down so you can see. Sit there on top of stuff. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the flywheel cover off so I can get the crankshaft, or not the crankshaft, the flywheel, and turn it by hand because I'm still suspicious that that crankshaft might be bent. If it is, then that means the flywheel key is probably seared. So I'm taking out these 3 screws that hold the vanity cover on. I'm going to be looking for critters to make sure nothing bites me, spiders and things like that. So I'm going to lift this up now. I don't see any mouse infestations. Let's take a look to see what kind of spider life we have. All right. No black widows. Let's test this and see if it works. Oh yeah, that's still got some springs, so I may be able to use this cover on this mower. I just have to replace the let me show you this. That looks really tight. I'll probably adjust this. This was originally a self-priming that does spring back. So this is a self-priming carburetor, and I may be able to reinstall all of that. This is some spare parts. You see the carburetors are missing, but I wanted to show you this. This is the gap on this mower, which looks awfully tight to me, but let's see how easily it turns with my hands. It's not rubbing. All right, so now I'm going to tilt it back, and we're going to look for wobble again. All right, so I can turn the flywheel with my hand. I'll tell you what, if it's wobbling, it's not much. Maybe if I put this in, it'll be a little easier to see. So I'm looking for, don't like that because that's got my little drill hole in there. That's going to be like an optical illusion. So let me put this one in there and see if it seems to move. That crankshaft may be a little bent. The way to check for sure is to get the magnet out. Steel plate here, put that down nice and straight. And the magnet up here, where it's touching that crankshaft. And to see if it clears or if it moves. Well, it looks pretty darn good. Well, that's good. So I don't think the crankshaft is bent. That could be a bent blade, as I mentioned earlier, that's making it look like it, you know, that the crankshaft might have been bent, but actually it's the blade that's bent. Because that looks okay. So what I'll do is put another blade on it, maybe a new one, if I ever do get this thing where I feel like I want to try and start it and eliminate that as a possibility by putting a new blade on there. Then I may check the old blade, take the new blade off, put the old one on, and see how it does. All right, so that's okay. The question now is, what do we do with this starter? Let me show you what we're dealing with here. There's no cord, and the reason for that. Hey, I will. I'm doing a video. I'll be right there. I wanted to show you this. See that little stub? So there's a little bit of rope on here, and you can see some of it. in that edge there. So I'm going to get this old rope off of here. But my wife just said it's time to eat supper. So come back for episode 3. We're going to try and solve all the problems on this old dog-eating, beat-up mower. Man, that's a rough one.